Don't give any man a chance. In this video, I'm going to be explaining to you why giving men a chance is a bad idea. I'm going to be telling you why it's a bad idea and what happens when you do that and what you should be doing instead. Okay, so we're going to be going against a lot of conventional wisdom, but I want to expand your understanding so you can give yourself the best chance at love. If you've been told, just give him a chance, just give that other guy a chance, give this unattractive man that you don't find attractive a chance, and you found yourself in a pickle in the past. How many of us have been told to give a man a chance, we give him a chance, and then when we do, he acts all brand new, and then we're like screwed. We're thinking, what happened? I didn't fancy you, I didn't even want you, I had to talk myself into being with you, and now you're acting all brand new. Because the truth of the matter is, it wasn't you I was attracted to. I wasn't attracted to your body. I wasn't attracted, my body didn't even want to sleep with you, did not have any physical craving for you. And now that I've had to talk myself down from the ledge of desire, because I thought that by lowering my standards, my physical standards, and denying myself the chemistry that I need to feel excited about a relationship, that I would be exchanging that for better treatment, that you would treat me better than a woman who would otherwise be attracted to you. Because let's be honest, I'm out of your league in one way, shape, or form. I am prettier than maybe the girls you would ordinarily have access to, or smarter or more than you would ordinarily have access to. So you should be grateful. You should be excited at the idea of dating somebody like me. So I don't know what's happening here. Why am I being played by the man that I was giving a chance, the man that I'm not even that attracted to, at the same level as though you were the hottest man and I was in love with you and my heart was skipping a beat? Like, help me understand what is going on. Any woman who has ever given a man a chance often has to deal with something like this, or ending up with a man she was giving a chance and then spending the rest of that relationship thinking, what was I thinking? Okay, so as much as it sounds good, I had a gentleman who is a relationship person in my comments on one of my reels, and he was like, you know, women need to start giving men a chance. And I was like, can we just get off this? Can we get off this giving people a chance? This is your life. This is your emotional, mental, spiritual life. You don't get to charity it away. You don't get to just compromise your life away. We need to get away from people giving each other a chance and actually ask every single human being in the world to be the kind of person that doesn't need to be given a chance, the kind of person that is so desirable, that is so healthy, that nobody has to think of you as giving you a chance. Okay, well, he didn't respond. I don't think he wanted to be part of that conversation, but I really wanted to have it with you because of a million reasons. It just doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? When you give a man a chance, men don't think like women. When a man knows what his attractive level is, he knows how attractive he is or is not. Men don't lie to each other. They don't say, hey girl, you're so cute, you're so beautiful, even though she's not. We lie to each other all the time. We tell her, oh, you look fantastic, when we know that our girlfriend has gained weight, and we tell our girlfriends, oh, you're just the most beautiful, when we know nobody's there looking at her. We tell each other lies so that we can be comfortable in lies than actually the truth. As women, we're not conditioned to accept the truth. We see truth often as an attack. When somebody tells us the truth, it feels like we're being violated because we're not conditioned, we're not socialized to be confronted with the truth. We have to believe in a fairy tale world, and the people around us tell us that world, and so we find ourselves needing to lie to each other so that we can all just be comfortable, right? So we tell each other whatever we need to tell each other, or we say it in small little ways, but we're just not used to being dealt the truth. Now, some of us, if you're a black swan, the truth is something you desire, something that you can handle, but the average woman is not socialized to accept truth. But men just tell each other the truth. Men are like, dude, you're ugly, you better make some money. Men are very objective about their looks. They know when they physically have nothing to offer. They know when what they have to offer is money or charm or something, but they're definitely not walking around with this illusion that they are fine. So then what happens when you give that guy that is not fine a chance and he starts to act brand new? I mean, if they're so aware that they're not God's gift to the earth, why do they act like it when they're in a relationship? Because in a man's mind, I stepped to you looking the way I do, being the man that I am, and you picked me. You chose me as I am. So I'm not gonna now perform better, right? I'm not gonna go over and above beyond what I would have for any woman who chooses me, whether she's in my league, above my league. If I'm that guy who only shows up in the first 3 months of a relationship for any woman, whether she is in my league or not in my league, I'm gonna show up for 3 months for you because you picked me. And if you're stupid enough to pick me, then you're stupid enough to get the other things I give to every other woman. Men think you picked me. That man's emotional internal reaction is, she picked me, so I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna show up as I do. I'm not gonna think, well, I usually treat the Janes and the plain Janes or whatever the types I date badly, but because she's uber beautiful and uber smart and uber whatever, I'm just gonna give her double the portion that I would give to plain Jane. No, I'm gonna give her everything, the mess I gave to Jane, the stupidity I gave to Jane. Because why? Because that's who I am. People are never going to act out of how other people perceive them to be. We all act out of who we perceive ourselves to be, what our internal identity is. When you give a man a chance because you think he's going to treat you better, because you think he's going to show up better, but you don't give him a chance because he is better, because he genuinely is you don't vet him to be a better man. You just think, I'm going to give all of this value to this person, and then it's all going to come together because they're going to be so grateful. The other day I was looking out my window and I was, you know, I'm really quite high up in my apartment block, and I get to sort of have this bird's eye view of the city and the town I'm in. And I was thinking to myself, gosh, some of those apartments could probably really do with like a refurb or whatever. And I realized that if you take people from a certain part of society and bring them into like an apartment block like mine, give them enough time and this place will be ghetto. Because you can take the person out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the person. They're gonna bring their habits. They're gonna bring, one of the last apartment blocks I was in was another beautiful private place, and then certain types of people started to move in, and the lifts and all the things that you would expect in a certain part of town became part of that really beautiful private building, because people bring who they are to the relationship. They bring who they are, and who a person is has very little to do with how they look. Unless they look particularly weird and they have a tree growing out of their face, they won't have an identity that is built based on who people perceive them to be. They're gonna have the identity based on the family they grew in, the value systems that they grew up in, the masculinity they saw on display or the lack thereof, the femininity. What builds our identities are things that are more deeply core, the homes and the families we grow up, the societies we grow up in, and how we have been conditioned to be. And so I can decide, hey, I'm gonna bring that person from the ghetto and put them in my apartment block, and that will change the story. They're gonna be so grateful they left the hood and are now in a really great area with really great people that they will change. They will value the partner more. They will cherish it more. But no, if I go and visit them 3 months from now, everything will be bust up, right? Everything will be messed up. Because that's what it's like in dating. When you give a man a chance and you don't vet him according to the rules of vetting, okay? Another thing that you need to know is any relationship with any man, there's always a point where the dynamic shifts, where at first he is pursuing you. And if you don't know how to be a black swan, if you don't know how to maintain attraction, if you don't know how to stay chaseable, wantable, desirable, the tables will flip. At every point in every relationship, whether that man is attractive to you or unattractive to you, there is going to be a power shift dynamic, and this happens in every relationship, and the dynamic will switch again. At some point, every man, whether you find him attractive or whether you didn't find him attractive, is gonna have a moment where he's gonna want to pull away and think about the relationship. Is gonna have a moment where he's gonna want power and control in that relationship. Why? Because that's masculine energy. And if you had given him a chance thinking that you're going to have more power, more in that relationship, you have a very sad thing coming. And so it's really, really important that you unlearn the mindset of giving a man a chance, because all you are doing is conditioning that man who hasn't worked on himself, who hasn't grown himself, who has not invested in himself, to get access to a type of woman that he wouldn't ordinarily have, that he would have to have pre-conditioned himself, pre-changed himself, pre-done the work in order to access. A man that you are giving a chance is simply a man who has not done the work before to be worthy of being chosen by you without you having to go through, let me give him a chance. When you have to think in your mind as a woman, oh, let me give him a chance, what you're saying is, he has not earned the right for me to admire him in the first 15 minutes. He's not internally conditioned or wired for something inside of me to just want to respect him. There's something I have noticed. It's something my primitive instinctual self knows. This man does not have what it takes to lead me. And so pay attention to that, because the man that has what it takes to lead you, the man that has what it takes to cover you, the man that has what it takes to be right for you is not a man that that's going to trigger the give him a chance process. He is going to be the kind of man that you think, oh yeah, I really want to get to know this man really well. Now, somebody might say to me, Chengi, come on, you're not teaching the right things. We all need to give people a chance. If I hadn't given my husband a chance, if I hadn't given so-and-so, and he's amazing, I would have missed out on this amazing relationship if I hadn't given my husband a chance or my boyfriend a chance, if I hadn't gotten over my prejudice. This is a completely different conversation. Now, let me just explain something about when I said what you need to do instead. What you actually need to do instead is not think, I'm gonna give this guy a chance, but think of it in this way. And I say this to the girls in the House of Swans, I say this to my clients all the time. I am giving myself a chance to explore my desires, the things that can attract me beyond the framework that I have created for myself. When we have the mindset that I'm giving myself a chance by dating Paul, I am giving myself a chance to really figure out who I am, what I want, what I desire, what I need. This is about me. When you enter it knowing it's about you, you don't project these higher expectations. Just because I don't initially find you attractive doesn't mean you now owe me for the privilege of me giving you time, but I owe myself. I am the only one I am putting expectations on to be open, to be available, to be present to the connection, to see parts of myself that I may have had hidden that might find something more attractive than I have before. This is a different mindset because you can't disappoint me. And when you behave like you've been picked, that's because you have been picked. That's because there's a part of me that actually picked you, and I am exploring that part of me. And when I fully explore that part and I still decide you don't make the cut, I'm not going to be bitter. I'm not going to be like, I gave that man a chance and he started acting brand new. I'm gonna be like, I gave myself a chance to find somebody. And guess what happens? When we come in with an openness of, this is about me, I am giving myself a chance to date that guy that I wouldn't ordinarily date. And this is what happens to these women who get married, except they never corrected the mindset. So even in that marriage, I had a friend and she gave him a chance. She's like, Chengi, just give him a chance. But she made his life hell for the first 3 to 4 years. She treated him like he didn't matter, because in her mind, I gave him a chance. And so we end up creating scenarios. And then what happened is he still became a man. He still lost everything he had. He still went through all of life uglies. And all she has is, I gave him a chance. He really wasn't what I wanted. And so sometimes we give a chance and we end up in the situation thinking we're going to get better treatment, a better life because of all these things, but you're going to get a life. So what I want you to do is to consider, am I giving myself a chance by dating this man? If I don't feel like I'm giving myself a chance, I'm not gonna do it. Because guess what? Within the context of your patterning, okay, your type, within the context of what you find attractive, what you find valuable, you need to vet them. You need to vet for a man who is aligned. Stop wasting your time giving chances away that could be used for vetting and selecting for alignment with you within the context of what you find attractive. And there are so many men who are good and bad in both categories. The men you don't find attractive are not necessarily great guys because you don't find them attractive, and they're not going to necessarily put in more work because you find them attractive. And the same is true for the men you find attractive. Just because you find a man attractive doesn't mean he's going to treat you badly, doesn't mean he's going to harm you, doesn't mean he's going to play you, neither does it mean he's going to be good to you, because none of these factors are built on attractiveness. So give yourself a chance. Date the man you find attractive. And attractive is very individual, is very subjective. Who do you find attractive? And don't get caught up in what your friends think is attractive. I was talking to one of the girls in the House of Swans, and she's dating this amazing guy, but she just couldn't get past, I can't imagine taking him to a family do. He's not attractive enough for my family. They would be like, is that what you're into? She was so preoccupied with what the world would think about her partner that she didn't even give herself a chance. And this is what we need to knuckle down to. So here's my message to you. You're never ever going to give a man a chance. But if you love yourself enough, you should give yourself a chance to explore love with people that you may not have thought to explore it with. And if it works, yay. If it doesn't, no. But you must never be in a relationship with a man thinking, I gave you a chance, so you have to prove yourself, because that man is not going to prove himself. That man is going to grow in resentment. That man is going to punish you for giving him a chance. I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope to see you in my new Soulmate Lux program. If you want to know more about that, visit the description below, and I'll see you in my next video. In the meantime, do take care of you. I love you lots. Bye.